She steps out of the truck, boots crunching on the familiar gravel, but this time, something feels different. Amy Fleming is home, but not the same home we remember. It's quieter, lonelier, a place where echoes of the past now fill the air more than voices. Heartland Season 19 doesn't open with a welcome, it opens with absence. And you can feel it in every corner of the ranch. The camera slowly moves across the land. The windmill still turns. The barn still stands. But as Amy walks past Spartan's old stall, her eyes pause. It's empty now. Spartan isn't gone, but the old memories come rushing in. Ty brushing him, Jack feeding him, Lou laughing in the distance. The place looks the same, but something has changed. Amy can feel it, and so can we. Inside the house, everything is in its place. The picture frames, the dusty books. But Amy walks straight to the fireplace and sees an old photo of her, Ty, and baby Lyndy. She doesn't speak. She just runs her fingers over Ty's face in the frame. There are no flashbacks here. No dramatic music. Just a heavy silence and the sound of a heart still grieving. Even after so much time, the pain hasn't fully left. And now, something else is pulling at her. She checks her phone. A message from Lou. Call me when you're ready to talk. Another from Tim. We'll figure it out together, Amy. But Amy doesn't reply. She puts the phone down and looks out the window. Outside, Lyndy is running in the open field, her arms stretched like wings. The girl is growing fast, and Amy knows it. That's what makes her return to the ranch so hard. The place she once called her forever home suddenly feels like a place caught in time, a place she might not be able to stay in anymore. Jack finds her in the stable later that day. He's calm, gentle. He tells her, I know that look. You've got one foot here and one somewhere else. Amy just nods. She doesn't have the words yet, but Jack always knows what's going on. He doesn't press her. Instead, he just starts brushing one of the horses, offering comfort in the only way he knows how, by being there. The emotional weight in Season 19's first episode doesn't come from action or a big drama. It comes from the quiet moments. Amy walking past Ty's old tools. Jack staring out at the pasture a little too long. Lou's empty chair at the table. It's all there, unspoken but powerful. This isn't the happy return fans might have expected. It's a slow walk into the past and a sign that change is coming. Later that evening, as the sun sets, Amy stands on the front porch. Lyndy is asleep. The horses are calm, but Amy's heart is full of noise. A letter sits on the table inside one. She hasn't opened yet. One that might hold the answer to what she's supposed to do next. But she's not ready to open it. Not yet. For now, she just watches the horizon, searching for a sign. Because sometimes, even when you're home, you still feel lost. The goodbye doesn't come with a dramatic speech. It comes quietly, in a simple moment when Lou stands on the porch with a suitcase beside her. Amy doesn't try to stop her. She just watches her sister take a deep breath, hug Jack tightly, and whisper, It's time. There are no tears, just silence. And silence says more than words ever could. Lou's departure hits the ranch like a soft wind that slowly turns into a storm. She's been part of the heart of Heartland for years, running the business, pushing everyone forward, trying to hold the family together. But now, she's leaving. Not in anger, not in sadness, but because she needs to. She's accepted a new position overseas, something big, something bold, something that doesn't include Heartland in its daily view. And just like that, the balance starts to shift. Amy tries to act strong. She says she understands. She even says it's good for Lou. But deep inside, it feels like a second goodbye. First Ty, now Lou. And it's not just Amy feeling the loss. Jack doesn't say much after Lou leaves. He keeps himself busy with fence repairs and tack maintenance. Tim gets loud, blaming everyone but himself. Katie looks confused, caught in between her mom's dreams and her own fear of being left behind. Heartland has always been about staying together. Now, everyone seems to be drifting apart, but Lou isn't the only one stepping away. Rumors spread through town that Lisa is scaling back her work at Fairfield, planning to spend more time in France. Tim, too, is spending less time on the ranch, more time chasing rodeo events and sponsorship deals. Each one seems to be making peace with moving on, while Amy is left holding the weight of what remains. The ranch starts to feel emptier, not in a physical way, There are still horses, meals, chores, but the energy is different. Heartland used to feel full of laughter, arguments, dinners, and endless motion. Now, it feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for someone to decide what happens next. Amy begins to notice things slipping. Papers on the desk that used to be Lou's responsibility now sit untouched. Horses that Tim promised to help with go unridden. Even Jack, the solid rock of the family, hesitates when Amy asks what to do next. I don't know, he admits. It's the first time Amy's ever heard him say that. Lyndy asks one night, "Why is everyone leaving?" Amy doesn't know how to answer. How do you explain that people grow, that sometimes even love can't keep them in one place? She tucks her daughter in and tells her, "Sometimes we say goodbye so we can say hello again later," but the words taste hollow in her mouth. She doesn't know if later will ever come. That's when Amy realizes something painful. She's the one holding on the hardest. She's been waiting for things to go back to the way they were, for the family to feel whole again. But life doesn't work that way. People change, dreams grow, and home sometimes becomes a memory rather than a place. Still, Amy isn't angry at Lou, or Lisa, or Tim. She just feels alone. The goodbye may have been quiet, but its effects are loud. Heartland is changing, and so is everyone who lived there. Amy's been strong for so long, carrying the legacy of the ranch, of Ty, of everything they built together. But as one by one the people around her begin new chapters, Amy is forced to ask herself the question she's been avoiding for years. What if it's her turn too? And that's where the tension builds, because while Heartland has always been her anchor, it's also starting to feel like a cage. The letter still sits on the table, unopened. Days pass. Horses are fed. Fences are mended. The ranch keeps going. But Amy can't. Something inside her is stuck like a gate rusted shut. After too many winters, it isn't just about the ranch anymore. It's about the life she thought she was supposed to live. The life she promised Ty. The life she built around staying. But what happens when staying begins to feel like breaking? One morning, Amy saddles up alone. No Jack. No Lyndy. No camera-ready smiles. Just her, the cool morning air, and a long ride into the quiet hills beyond the ranch. The world out there is wide, but Amy's mind is locked in one place. Every turn of her horse's hooves kicks up a memory. Ty's laugh in the barn. Lou yelling from the porch. Georgie galloping beside her. She used to ride to feel free. Now, she rides to remember. She reaches the top of a hill, where the valley stretches far below. There, she pulls the letter from her jacket. She doesn't read it right away. Her hands shake. The seal tears like old skin. And finally, she reads. It's an invitation. A position to lead a wild horse rehabilitation program in Montana. A job that combines everything she loves: healing, horses, open land. It's perfect. It's her. But it's not Heartland. Amy stares at the sky. Her heart pounds. The offer isn't just a job. It's a door. A way out. A way forward. But stepping through it would mean leaving behind the ranch, the home Ty loved, the life they built together. Would it be betrayal? Or healing? That night, she sits with Jack by the fire. She doesn't say anything. Just hands him the letter. Jack reads it, his eyes calm, wise. When he finishes, he looks up at her and says only, "You don't owe this place your whole life, Amy." She tries to argue, but he shakes his head. "You kept it alive when we couldn't. You carried us. But now it's your turn to breathe," Amy cries then, for the first time in a long time. Not just because she's sad, but because the truth hurts. She stayed to hold on to the past. But holding on has become its own kind of pain. She walks into Lyndy's room later. Her daughter sleeps soundly, a stuffed horse tucked under one arm. Amy brushes a strand of hair from her face. "What kind of future do I want for her?" she whispers. One that's full of ghosts, or one where she sees her mother happy again? The decision is not made in one moment. It happens slowly, in glances, in quiet talks, in long stares at the pasture. And then one morning, Amy steps into the barn, takes a deep breath, and starts packing her saddlebags, not to run, not to escape, but to step forward. But not everyone understands. Tim is furious when she tells him, "You can't just leave this place," he says. "This is your life." Amy doesn't yell back. She simply says, It was. But now, I need more than memories. Lou calls from overseas crying. Are you sure? She asks. Amy replies, I'm not sure of anything, but I know I need to try. And just like that, Amy chooses something for herself for the first time since Ty died. Not out of guilt, not out of duty, but out of hope. She isn't abandoning Heartland. She's honoring it by choosing life again. Because maybe, just maybe, the bravest thing Amy can do is let go. The sun rises differently on the day Amy decides to leave. It's warmer, softer, as if the land itself knows something is changing and gives its quiet blessing. She walks through the ranch one last time, not rushing, not lingering. Every step is a goodbye, but also a thank you. Thank you to the barn that kept her safe, to the fields that gave her freedom, to the home that raised her, loved her, and finally let her go. Jack waits by the truck. He doesn't speak. He just pulls her in for a long hug, the kind that says everything words can't. Lyndy is already buckled in the back seat, excited for the new place with new horses. Amy kneels beside her, brushing hair behind her ear. It's a new start, she whispers. Lyndy nods, unaware of how much her mother's heart is breaking even while it's healing. But Heartland doesn't fall apart when Amy leaves. It breathes. For years, the ranch depended on her strength, her quiet, tireless way of holding things together. Now, it has to stand on its own. And slowly, it does. Jack steps up again, not because he wants to, but because he must. Tim stops chasing distractions and starts caring for the land again. Even Katie helps more, filling her mother's absence with quiet courage. It's not the same, but it's not worse. It's different. It's life. A new young trainer arrives. Someone Amy recommended. She's nervous and sure, but the horses respond to her, and Jack gives her a chance. The torch is passed not with speeches or spotlights, but in the simple rhythm of feeding hay and brushing coats. Heartland survives. It always does. Meanwhile, in Montana, Amy finds a small cabin on a wide stretch of land. No fences, just wild horses running free. The facility isn't glamorous, but it's full of potential, like Amy herself. She meets people who don't know her past, don't ask about Ty, don't expect her to carry anyone but herself. For the first time in years, Amy breathes without guilt. She smiles because she wants to. She laughs, not just because she remembers something funny, but because she feels joy again. She writes to Jack often, sends pictures of Lyndy riding bareback in the hills, hair flying behind her like wings. Jack doesn't reply with long letters, just a few words. Proud of you, that's enough. That's everything. Lou visits eventually. She sits on the porch of Amy's new home and says, You look lighter. Amy looks out across the pasture, horses grazing in peace. I feel like myself again, she says, but Amy never forgets. Heartland. It shaped her. It made her strong. It gave her love, loss, and the fire to keep going. The ranch isn't her prison. It's her foundation. And even though she's moved on, it's still part of her. Always, she returns sometimes. Not to stay, but to visit, to walk familiar paths with new eyes. The family gathers, maybe not as often, maybe not in full, but when they do, there's warmth. No more trying to force the past to come back. They've all let go in their own ways. And now, when they look at each other, they don't see pain. They see pride. Season 19 of Heartland is not just about who leaves or who stays. It's about the choice to grow, to honor the past without living in it. Amy's heartbreaking decision was never really about leaving. It was about choosing life after loss, choosing purpose after pain, choosing herself not because she's selfish, but because she's ready. And in the quiet moments, in the silence between scenes, you can feel it. This isn't the end of the story. It's the start of another chapter. Amy's truck disappears down the gravel road, dust swirling behind it like memories lifting into the sky. Heartland doesn't wave. It doesn't cry. It just stands, proud and steady, the way it always has. But those who watch closely can feel it. Something profound just happened. A quiet goodbye that wasn't loud or dramatic, but lasting. This isn't the end of Amy's journey. It's the beginning of something deeply personal. For years, she carried the ranch, her grief, her family, and the legacy of Ty. She stayed because she thought she had to, She stayed because she was afraid that letting go meant forgetting. But what she discovered was something more powerful. Moving forward doesn't mean leaving everything behind. It means taking the best parts of it with you. Heartland Season 19 starts not with celebration, but with choice. And that's what makes it unforgettable. Fans may have expected reunions, old faces returning, or dramatic twists. Instead, they got something more real, a woman standing at a crossroads, quietly choosing to heal. For longtime fans, it's bittersweet. Saying goodbye to familiar characters like Lou and seeing the family drift in new directions might feel like loss. But look closer, what's happening is growth, evolution. The story is still being told, just on different pages. Amy's decision reminds all of us of something important. That sometimes the bravest act is not fighting to stay but daring to leave, to risk a new beginning, to believe there is life after heartbreak, meaning beyond memory. And so, Heartland shifts, not crumbles, not ends, shifts. Lyndy begins her own story, running wild and free under her mother's watchful eyes. Jack becomes the center again, the keeper of stories, the voice of calm. New faces step into the barn, nervous and hopeful. And Heartland itself, more than a place, more than a home, remains what it always was, a sanctuary, no matter who comes or goes. So, what's next? That's the beauty of it, nobody knows. And that's why we'll keep watching, because sometimes the quietest goodbyes lead to the loudest transformations, because sometimes letting go is the most powerful way to hold on, and because, no matter how far she goes, Amy will always be Heartland. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more breakdowns, emotional turns, and hidden meanings in Heartland Season 19. What do you think about Amy's decision? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This isn't just a new season, it's a new beginning.